Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Waylon the Indoor Farmer. This is episode 6. As you can see, I'm working on this bigger 55 gallon that a friend of mine gave me the aquarium for. This week I'm going to show you guys a few things. This is just just one picture about what I used to seal the PVC. Originally, I did not believe I was going to have to use PVC glue and the whole typical way that you clean and attach PVC together. But after I tried to use the setup the way that I had it, I thought the PVC was going to fit just fine. The water is flowing through it, so I didn't think it would hold up too long and then have to find a way through. So it actually did end up leaking in both the area where I'm pointing at and on the side over here. And I ended up just using some white tape around here. I'll probably show some pictures of that later. Let's see. Just keep her rolling. This is just showing you the view of the left side where the water's coming in, and see how I taped it up instead of using any sort of glue. That way I could just take it back apart. It's really doesn't need to be real strong of a seal there. It's just enough to keep it together. It was already actually holding together pretty good without glue or anything. I just thought this would help it and also keep any water from coming through. It was just a little damp, just enough to annoy me. So let's see what's next. Entirely too long of a video for the view of nobody doing anything, but so look, before I go much further, look, I don't profess to be an expert at this. This is not a how-to video or how-to series of episodes. So look at this contraption I tried to work on. I thought, look, I don't want to screw anything into the ceiling. I don't want to hang anything from my ceiling because I've already had issues in this house. It's a rental, and it's actually an addition. I think this looks like it was a garage that they just turned into part of the house at some point. Is where my studio is here. And so I was kind of afraid to mess with the ceiling. So I came up with this plan, I guess you could call it. I went to the hardware store. I got some clamps. I cut up pieces of a flip-flop, just an old shoe, and then I found these metal rods that seem to be strong enough, and this metal wiring, and I thought, okay, this might work. So here's a picture of it. Let's see. You can see on both sides the metal rod and the clamp, and I thought, hey, this is a way to not permanently attach anything and also be able to take it down later. And I thought, this would be a good idea for some reason, but it actually ended up bending on both sides enough that it just doesn't look well. It actually works, okay? So let me back up a minute. It does work, but we decided to change it. My friend Rob and I. Thank you, Rob. It worked out. I did still need 2 people to put that together, but there's Rob using the stud finder like I should have done in the first place. But still, I was still afraid of the ceiling. And it's not my house. I didn't want to be doing too much. But yeah, you can see a better picture here where it's starting to bow in on both sides, and it just doesn't look right. So we went ahead and did it right. Well, more right. You can see we put the little pulleys up in the ceiling and then attached to that way I can actually change the height. As you can see, it looks like the light is not flat or level because it's not. I decided to angle it because it's not actually fully long enough to cover all the way down to where I have a few grow cups here at the end. So I thought, hey, if I just lean it a little bit, it actually works out. Plus, it's next to the red and blue LEDs from the 10 gallon on the other side here. Yep. Okay, so here's what I did. I decided I needed to get something in there just for the fish that I was going to get to have somewhere to hide and everything. And so I did. I put these just fake plants in there for now. The ceramics that you have to put in, or that you have to buy, are really cool, but they're so expensive. So for right now, I don't think I'm going to need to do that. You can see I just got a bunch of guppies and a bunch of there's a few other random fish, some shrimp, a couple shrimp, and a big suckerfish who's going to get bigger. This is what I did. I came up with this idea. I knew I had some stones, and this is clearly just a red brick outside. And I thought, hey, I could just build a little enclosure, or not enclosure, but a little structure inside the water. So I did. I washed these off. I cleaned them with soap and water. I was hesitant to clean them with soap because I don't want to throw anything off in the water with the fish. But I also have antimicrobial soap, which is directly contradictory to what you're trying to do with aquaponics. You want these microbial bacteria to convert the fish waste into the nitrites and nitrates that your plants need. That's the plant food. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just go ahead and do that, rinse it off really well. I scrubbed each brick, and then I dried them off really well just to try to get as much of that off as possible. And it actually didn't do bad. I don't think it's going to be a problem. So here, look, this is what I built. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I built it with my own 2 hands. Can't believe it. Look, I might as well be a bricklayer, or maybe, just a fish house builder, I guess. But I think this will work out. Just gives them somewhere to swim around and hide and possibly breed. I'm hoping these guppies will breed. Can't get the other guppies to breed on the other side. For some reason, they get really big. They're clearly, ready to lay eggs, but they don't. And I put them in the breeder tank, so I've tried that. Anyway, that's a tangent. I'll get off on that later. But this is actually exciting for me because I'm actually starting to plant. I didn't plant everything because there's not that many fish, and the fish are small still, so the nutrients, you have to be careful with how much you go, because I'll just have a bunch of duds. That's all that will happen really. And that might still happen because I might have still overplanted, because I think I planted most of the main bed and a few of the cups here. Let me see. My friend Rob getting some other footage there from the side. I'll have to teach him to flip the phone sideways. Actually, I already told him. I had to learn that myself for a long time because, the whole editing and filming process of this has actually been interesting because I didn't think about learning that aspect of this. I thought, well, I'll learn to be a farmer and I'll put it up on YouTube and maybe it'll help other people, learn mistakes that I went through, and but then I found out, hey, I have to figure out how to edit and produce these videos. I'm getting better. Hey, I think I'm getting better. We'll see. These are slightly drier sponges than I used at the church with Pastor Sam. Those were much more just like full of liquid nutrients. These feel very moist, but then there's the ones from the 10-gallon that I showed in I think episode 1 that were very just completely dry and no nutrients at all. So I'm hoping this is a happy medium in there where, yes, I get the nutrients to help kick the seed off and get it to germinate quickly, more so than just the dry ones that I've been using in my smaller setup. But maybe not so much, liquid moisture that it actually is unnecessary for the fish, because the ones we use in the church are just very wet, like super squishy, and I guess I don't know which one's better. We'll find out. Okay, so I learned a lesson here. It's actually much easier to put the seeds in that tiny, tiny hole using the bag of seeds as like a funnel, or folded in half kind of. Using my hands and fingers was not easy because they're kind of chubby fingers. my cameraman to be. Gotta flip that phone sideways. Rob, gotta flip the phone sideways. This is how you do Instagram and Snapchat, not YouTube. So I think we've learned that lesson. Moving on. So I did plant a little bit of lettuce, even though, you know, I've already got lettuce going. I'm just sort of planting some of the seeds that I already had. Didn't have anything specific that I was worried about planting. I did some spinach, I did some basil, I actually planted some lavender, even though that didn't work out in my 10-gallon when I tried that. I think it might still work out, though, just because I tried mint in the 10-gallon, and like I said in episode 1, the mint just went wild and grew everywhere, and I think it was taking up all the nutrients that those little fish could provide. But I have more fish in the bigger tank. I don't have mint this time. I'm not gonna do mint in here. I don't need mint. I just had it. Let's see. Oh yeah, mustard. I think there's some mustard. I think that's what I'm doing there. So it's mustard, basil, spinach, and lavender, and then lettuce. And then I did end up putting, I bought a head of lettuce from the store, and I just cut it in half, and I put that at the end here. You can't see it, but I'm going to see what happens with that. I want to see if it'll regrow. I've heard it would, but we will see. Yeah, much more difficult with your fingers. Seeds all stuck to my hands, and I lost some on the floor, and I'm sure I dropped a few randomly in here, so that should be interesting to see what pops up. Let's see, I think I planted the first 2 cups here, and maybe a few right there. And the seeds got stuck to the tape from the package, so it wasn't a foolproof plan either, but it worked out. So don't get me wrong, this is a hobby, you know, this is definitely just a hobby level right now, but I do fully expect to become commercial someday. I think there's not many things that are worth pursuing more so than ways to get clean food and clean nutrition and find ways to do that sustainably, which to me seems like all year long. Indoors seems like the best way to go, as long as supplies of materials and seeds and whatever else you need stays consistent. Then you can do that all indoors. One day I'll figure out how to make my own seeds, but that's a that's a lesson for a new day, I think. Pretty boring here, just but it's exciting. I mean, I'm hoping that something comes of this fairly soon. I've already got a few things that look like they're germinating. This was a couple days ago. So that's going to be interesting to see the ratio of fish to plants that I can grow in this environment. It also depends on how big the fish become and what their max size is. I bought 2 shrimp, and the shrimp are almost see-through, very clear almost. But I lost track of them almost immediately, so I have no idea where they are in there. It's very difficult to see. I think one day I'm going to get some lighting underneath of the tank, which would be interesting to maybe brighten things up if I want to turn it on, just to be able to see things. Yeah, Root Riot is the brand. I'm not going to say I liked it or disliked it yet. We'll see what happens. was a sealed container. They weren't very wet. A little bit. So that was just that video from earlier when my friend recorded a little bit, and it became really close up because of the direction of the camera. Oh. Okay, interesting. Just gonna get past that. Oh, he got off on a lettuce tangent, it looks like. We have some things to talk about that next week. I like the grow bed because it serves like another filter. The way that this is set up, our setup in the church sort of allows for more less filtering until the plants get grown longer, and until we do something different with the barrel, with the filter barrel, which is something we're going to talk about in a couple weeks. But yeah, this. Oh, here we go. Okay. So that's it for my footage on this. But yeah, I'm still really excited though that it's going, and we're going to see how it goes. I'd like to grow something other than lettuce, so that's really what I'm hoping that could come out of this. But it has cost me some money, but the majority of the materials have been repurposed materials or recycled, things people gave away. I didn't do a whole lot of construction on it. I just sort of did screw some wood together, and I cut some pieces for that, but it wasn't much. It was just sort of finding things that would fit together. So we'll see where it goes, and in a couple weeks here we will have another episode to show you the results. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. And please hit the like button if you like it, and share and subscribe if you don't mind.